Alright, hey, how's it going? So this is Neil from masterpaintingnow.com and top art instructor at Udemy. I'm going to show you guys my watercoloring process. Start out with a big brush here, laying down water just to, because I'm gonna put a lot of color in this area. And I do a lot of thinking ahead of time, what colors I want to use. So I'm going to use a lot of cool colors for her and a lot of warm colors for the background and for the big like futon type thing she's sitting on and then a pillow type thing she's laying on. Start out with this kind of like slightly reddish orange color that I mix with a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of this yellow just straight on top of that and let it bleed right into it. Because I like the dried effect that it looks like when colors bleed into each other. I'm like, okay, I don't want to wait that long for that thicker paint over there to dry, so I kind of lifted up with paper towel and then blow dried it. Now the smoke I'm going to go with kind of like a pale blue color, and I think that'll be nice for the smoke and also add contrast. You'll have this kind of blue color on one side and then, like kind of the warmer. It's basically cool colors on one side, warm on the other when it comes to the bong versus the other colors. By the way, if you guys are interested in learning how to draw figures like this from your imagination, I recommend either go to masterpaintingnow.com, the link is in the description, and check out my anatomy course, Anatomy for Figure Drawing. And also, this is kind of weird. Look at this. If you look at my palette here, there's a trickery of light. For some reason, it looks like there are bubbles coming out at me for some reason instead of little cups indenting. They actually indent, but you'll see it in a little bit how it indents. But just for some reason, here the lighting or something just caused it to look like it's bubbling out to me instead of going in. It's one of those optical illusions. But also, I'm a best-selling author of. It's called How to Draw Awesome Figures. You can find the book on Amazon. Now I decided here to use one of my other brushes. I bought this brush at I think it was some craft shop. I think it was Michael's, and it was like $8, somewhere around there. Whereas my main brush I use, a Kuretake brush for really fine details, was about $18 after shipping from Japan. I really like that sable. Sable is really awesome. This is the Kuretake brush right here. I use this for more finer details, but sometimes I'll even use it to lay down fatter lines because you can just kind of use the side of it and it's really long so you can get some nice lines. But for scrubbing, I like using this other brush here or one of my lesser expensive brushes. And my scrubbing is like actually kind of you push back and forth. I'll show you here on the green what I mean, how I blend the colors. But basically to blend colors, you want to lay down your color a little bit and then get your brush wet, get all the color off, and then just use water to push the color around. And that's how you get a nice blend of the color without having hard line. Um, here's I'm using all cool colors now for her outfit. And again, this is all thought out. I don't just like randomly go, hey, I think she'd look cool if she had on a white shirt. And in this case, her shirt is technically supposed to be white, but that's why I'm leaving a lot of it white. But I use blue for the shadow of white usually. Same thing with snow. With watercolors, I don't try to go for realistic colors. Rarely do I ever try to go with realistic colors for painting. But even when I do digital painting, I don't try to go for realistic colors. I'm not trying to represent reality, especially when it comes to more of a comic book type piece. And here, right here, you can see I laid it down with white. Now watch how I blend this color. I put this in normal time here for you guys, this part right here, so you guys can see how I blend the color out. So after it's all wet, notice I'm just it's getting less and less ink, not ink, but less and less watercolor on there because it's really wet. And I'm gonna just blend it out with the side of the brush here in a second, and you're gonna see how you can blend it out. I'm gonna get it wet right now, taking the ink off, or not ink, taking the watercolor off. Now it's just water. I'm gonna take that water and just kind of scrub. See that? I don't like scrubbing with this brush though. I've noticed that it's starting to take away its fine, sharp tip, and so that's why I decided to stop scrubbing with it. I mean, I love painting with this brush, but it's a more finer detail brush. So, I mean, I could lay in a lot of color with it like that, like I just did on the shorts, but I want to make sure that I'm using it properly with proper brush strokes and the right, like the side of the brush, not the tip at all. Just don't do like a scrubbing motion with it. It does make it go away much faster. Here I use a bunch of different types of blues. So I started with for her jean shorts. Now the boots I thought was really cool. What I did for the boots is like, you know what, I kind of want them to look sort of grayish blue. And so what I did for that is, well, here now I'm laying in blue over this grayish blue, using two different colors right now. But first I took two different blues. I forget the two different blues they are, but it's kind of like a, cyan type of blue than more of just like a traditional darker blue. And I added those two blues together, and then I took just a little bit of brown, and I added brown into it, mixed it all together, and with the water, of course. And you can see how thin you're working with here. And that's what I love about these Kuretake watercolors. The Kuretake watercolors are awesome. They can be really really thin, and you can get a nice vibrant dark color out of them. And then you can go with this a little bit thicker, and bam, you got a super dark color. Now, I don't know if you realize what she's doing, but she's stoned and she's playing video games. Now, the part in her controller, that's how dark I wanted it, but it dried a lot lighter. So I should have did a couple more layers on top of it, but it's like whatever, it looks fine. But yeah, adding that little bit of brown to the blue made this really cool kind of gray blue color. It was really neat. So sometimes mess around with colors. Don't be afraid to throw colors together that you think would just be, whoa, that'd be really weird. I decided to give her green shoelaces to complement the green on her shirt and the green socks and the green hair. And whenever I do colors, if something's green, it has a little bit of blue in it. Some other complementary color to that color. So another cool color. So if it's a cool color, I'll add other cool colors with it for the shadows and stuff to make it look more cool and appealing. It's just I do this as well. Just not as I do it more subtly when I work digitally than with watercolor. Watercolor I really like this difference of color. Blow drying a lot in between just to save time. Now I'm going to wait for everything to dry. I'm really impatient, so it just speeds things up a lot. Notice here I added a little bit of blue to the green of the shoelaces because it just makes everything look better. You can also add like warmer colors too to more of the highlight areas. So I do that as well in the hair. Add a little bit of yellow into the hair, and then a little bit later I add even just a little bit of red into the hair. It's a common painter's trick that what you do is you add a little bit of the same color everywhere throughout the painting. So you have a small color palette, and that's the palette you're using, be it 5 colors or 9 colors, however many colors you want your palette to have. I like sticking with less colors, and you can always blend those together and make other colors. But what's important, and I use just water there to blend that out. If you wonder how I got that smoky effect there. Real quick before I go back to that, I wanted to mention that I'm adding purple now everywhere. One thing that I realized here too late, it was after it was done actually. I can still go back and fix it, but see the hard lines on her legs? That I didn't notice that for some reason when I was working. Sometimes things just skip your mind when you're just in the flow of moving, and that was one of them that just skipped my mind completely there. Those lines I should have blended out to be a lot softer because right now they look like her legs look really like she has like these sharp lines on her legs. Anyway, it's unfortunate. The bong's not done yet, by the way. I'm going to still add a little bit of purple into it. The glass tends to reflect the colors around it, but when I do glass, I typically do blue and different blue colors, and then I'll add some of the surrounding colors to it after that. So I could add a little bit of green to it because of her sock right there, but it's so far away it probably wouldn't have picked it up. It's definitely going to pick up a lot of purple color, purplish brown from that table itself. So add that into it. And then a little bit of the, I probably could have added a little bit of the orange and stuff in the background wall to one side of to the bong. But either way, it looks cool. It looks like glass, and that's the main thing. Notice even here, I add a little bit of blue to the table itself, even though I don't want the table to have much detail, and I don't want her bed to have much detail either. I decided to add a little bit of texture to the wall there. I'm not sure. I like having texture some places in my picture. Like watercolor textures are fantastic. So anyway, yeah. The premise of this character, her name is Stoner Girl. That's her nickname. And I haven't decided fully on her full name yet, her full real name yet. But anyway, she's a comic character I've been developing a little bit here and there. And it's going to be like a parody. It's going to be an actual, probably a graphic novel is what it's going to turn out to be. all published online for free. But it's going to be, the story's going to be kind of a parody of comic books, so kind of funny, but also serious, at times. It's not going to be like just pure comedy. It's going to have some serious kick-assness and stuff into it. Notice now how the thing looks normal because the way the shadows are hitting it. So now it looks like they actually are indenting like they're supposed to. Um, anyway, so yeah, the comic book's going to be cool. It's going to be called Stoner Girl. A little bit of blue down in the bottom there, with a lot of water in the bed there, futon thing. I kind of wanted her foot to overhang it too. It almost looks like the foot's coming out of the painting. Thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, we're pretty much done here, just adding some final colors. But yeah, I think the comic books are really cool. I'm still working on the story, so it might be a little while before it starts getting out there. But when it does, it'll be on my websites, growpotcheaply.com and perfectsunled.com. By the way, she's just lazy and stoned, and she's playing video games, so this is not meant to be sexual. There's nothing sensual about this pose, I don't think, but some people might find it sensual. Here's the dried finished piece. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Look out for the comic book. I'll also link it on my Master Paint Now website once it's up and running. It's going to be really interesting and cool. I might talk about it again in the future. Thanks for watching. Alright, I decided if you watched this far, I might as well talk about the comic book a little bit about the plot. So, it starts off, where she's a kind of reluctant hero. So she's just a stoner girl. She likes playing video games. She likes snowboarding. She's a little bit of a tom girl in that she kind of based on my girlfriend a little bit. My girlfriend loves doing all those kinds of things: RC racing, video games, snowboarding. Just very outgoing, and I love it because we have a lot of fun together. But she's also has her sensitive side and stuff like that. But she's just really not, I'm taking the, typical thing that marijuana makes you lazy and stoned. Although she's not like always lazy and stoned, but sometimes she just wants to sit there and just play video games. She wants to have fun. She wants to do things. She doesn't care about saving the world. And how she gets her superpowers is that some mysterious man, I'm going to leave that kind of like that for now. A mysterious man shows up in her life and offers her some, like of the greatest weed that she'll ever try. And so she decides to try it, and it gives her superpowers. Now, I know that sounds kind of stupid, but it's made to be a parody of a typical trope of comic books where, Spider-Man gets bit by a radioactive spider and gets spider senses and, kind of like the powers of a spider. It's stupid when you think about it. But, it works in the comic book. But it's kind of corny, the way that he got his powers. And a lot of these older comic books, the way that people got their powers are kind of corny like that. Fall into a radioactive, waste, and you come out, whatever. It's kind of dumb. But, so yeah, the weed looks all kind of like radioactive, like neon, just like crazy looking weed. And so she smokes it because it looks so beautiful and crazy. And then she gets these superpowers. Now, the superpowers aren't like really weed related, but a little bit. So, for example, one of the powers that she has is she learns is that she can turn to smoke. In this case, of course, pot smoke. But this allows her to, travel through things that smoke can travel through. And while she smokes, she's pretty much invulnerable. She can't be hurt or harmed. She has other superpowers too, like, typical just enhanced strength, enhanced durability. So, if she gets shot, it still hurts her and gives her bruises and stuff, but it's not going to penetrate her skin. It's not going to kill her. But it's not going to bounce off of her like it does Superman. It's actually going to knock her down and bruise her. It's going to hurt, as if she's wearing armor or something, or a bulletproof vest or whatever. So she's going to have other superpowers too. I'll leave that for later on. But the thing is that she is forced into the superhero thing. Her best friend's a kind of a nerdy character. And her friend really loves. I haven't decided whether this would be a guy or girl. I think it's to be a girlfriend though. Not actually like girlfriend, but a friend that's a girl. And anyway, so her friend's kind of nerdy and into like hacking and computers and stuff like that. And so tries to convince her that, hey, you need to use your powers for good and like actually help people with it. And she's like, she doesn't care. She doesn't want to do none of that. She's like, she'd rather use her superpowers to, like, just get some money to pay rent and stuff like that. And she doesn't want to be rich, so she doesn't like go out and like try to like rob a bank or anything. She's not like a bad person. So yeah. Anyway, that's all she wants to do is just kind of use her powers here and there for fun. And her friend gets kidnapped basically because they get kind of caught up into this conspiracy, and because of her hacking skills and whatnot. And that's where like the story really starts kicking off, and she's forced into the superhero kind of thing to save her friend. to use her powers to save her friend, and then from there on, she slowly starts to realize that maybe more people need help, and she kind of is forced into that role, not forced, but kind of pushed into the role by her friend to be that reluctant hero, and that's kind of the setup. So, all right, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, look out for the comic book. I think it's gonna be cool. If you guys have ever seen my writing before and my comic books, I did most of the drawing for End of All, and that's on masterpaintingnow.com, or you can go find it at endofallcomic.com. The link to masterpaintingnow.com is in this link to the description of this video. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can just click that link, and then you'll see the link to my End of All comic book on that site. But if not, then end as in END, all ALL. So endofallcomic.com. Hope that's understandable. And it's a really cool comic. It's for a long time it was in the top on Top Web Comics. It was in the top 50, and then I kind of stopped having time to work on it all the time, and didn't work on it for quite a while. I think a couple years, and then I started getting back into it again, and then I lost like 30 pages, and that really bummed me out. I don't know how that happened. I was transferring data to a thumbnail, so I wouldn't lose it, and somehow all the data in my thumbnail was just gone instantly. And then I couldn't find it. Those 30 pages were just gone, and then also they were gone on my computer. I even used FBI software to try to get back, and it was gone forever. Just could not get it back. It was crazy. Those other 30 pages, I have no idea what happened to them. That really bummed me out. So I was set back. I was on because I was on like say page 64 or something like that. Then I was set all the way back to 30. Now we're back on like page 70. So then I started hiring artists to help me out. And one artist in particular did some pages, and they were all right. They're not the best. We went to black and white. I work in color, but still they look really, really good. Then I found this really good artist, and what a real godsend that was. And he did a lot of good work. And I did a few pages here and there and I think I mentioned it in the description. Hey, I drew this page, whatever. And then that guy kept going on vacation all the time, and so then I found another artist that's really, really good. I like him. He's really fast. So hopefully he can finish it for me really quickly. It cost me, $25 a page. So it cost me, I have to put up one page a week. It costs me $100 a month for something I make no money on at all. It's really just I put it out there to show my storytelling skills, and then also show some of my own artwork that I do on it now and again. And a lot of it though now is just not me anymore doing the artwork anymore, but I still occasionally do a page here and there. All the beginning of the comic was all me, all the color stuff. That was old me too. That was years and years ago. I do a lot better work now. You can see some of my black and white work that I did. And anyway, so the stoner girl I won't have time to work on myself, and I would love to, but like this picture here I did of her. So I'll do all this like design and concept of her and stuff like that, and then I might do a few pages here and there. What I'm thinking about doing is have the guy work in a much less black, so just doing more of like almost like an outline type of inking work for me, and then I can take it and print it out, and then do a watercolor, like print it out and then trace it onto watercolor paper, and then do a watercolor coloring of it, and then take a photo of that and put that online as the final piece. And I'll have that way I can have large files as well. So if I ever decide to print it out on paper, a paperback version of it, which I would plan on doing, then it'd be available. With End of All will never be a paperback version because I didn't do large files. I only did internet size files for it, so I have no large files to actually print. So that will always just be an online thing. But this one I want to make it to be, anyway, it's to be good. And I know the story kind of sounds, something like the way she gets power sounds corny, but it's gonna work. It's gonna be funny. Like there's a lot of cool little, especially people that read a lot of the older comic books, a lot of kind of little puns and stuff, and cool little jokes and parodies, just kind of making fun of a lot of the comic book tropes out there. But at the same time, it's to be a serious story, with a lot of ups and downs, So yeah, if you want to get an idea of how my stories work, again, check out End of All. And also I have a best-selling novel. Well, it was a bestseller for a little while there, and anyway, it's called bending nature, a new kind of vampire novel, and it is very different from any other kind of vampire you've ever read about. Just read some of the reviews. It's got really good reviews. And yeah, so that's also linked on my website, masterpaintnow.com. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. And I know the last bit of it was just me talking, but hey, you know, what can I say? I wonder if I should like extend out some of the video clips to be a little bit longer during this part instead of just a still image. I think I'll do that. Just take one of the parts of the video and just extend it out to where it's not like sped up so fast or something. All right, so yeah, if you guys have anything you want to see, please let me know, and I'll make that happen for you guys. All right, thanks.